Hello everyone, I'm Anakin on Empire Clan's World of Tanks Blitz, and in today's video, I'll be doing something a little different. It'd be a top 5 video, which we haven't done before, and then one of my friends suggested it, and so I just decided to do it. So I was thinking of what to do, and then I decided to do Tier 8 Tech Tree Tanks, because first of all, Tier 8 is pretty much like, well, it's my favorite tier, and it's one of the most common tiers, and it's pretty easy to get up to because the credit costs aren't too bad, the XP costs aren't too bad, and there's a lot of good tanks in tier 8, and it's kind of like it's my favorite tier and a lot of people's favorite tier because, so I hate tier 6 because the teams are just bad, and I don't like the tanks in that tier. The only tank I like is the Cromwell B, and so I just hate 6. And then there's tier 10 that I like, it's fine, and it's a little hard though. You run into a lot of pros and it gets hard. You lose a lot. My stats aren't the best in tier 10 except for like my 7. So it's something that I like to play, but not like all the time, because when I get like bored or when I'm losing a lot, then that's not gonna help playing tier 10. So I like to go back to tier 8 always when I'm not losing so much or I just need a break, kind of, because it's my favorite tier, and it's not too easy, it's not too hard. There's a combination of some like good people in there, combination of like not so experienced players in there, so it's just a nice balance. Like, I like tier 8. So, and there's a lot of different like tanks that are really good in tier 8, but I'll be talking about, at least in my opinion, the top 5 tanks in tier 8. So that's in my opinion though. So if your opinion is different, then it's fine, because everyone likes certain tanks and doesn't like certain tanks, but I'm just picking kind of the tanks I think are the strongest and just to work overall like the best. So let's just get straight in it. So starting off this video, we have the RU-251 at number 5, which is the German tier 8 light tank on the Leopard 1 line. So the reason why this tank is ranked at number 5, I'd say, is because it's one of the strongest lights in the tier for sure. Probably maybe the strongest. There's not many that lights, but it's one of the strongest lights overall, just like in the game, because it's the fastest fastest tank in the game at with a top speed of 80 kilometers per hour. So it's extremely quick, and it has no armor, of course, but it's got a really good gun. So with, of course, 10 degrees of gun depression and pretty good dispersion and accuracy values, and it has really good DPM with a 4.9 second reload and a 225 base average damage on standard. So, and it also has not really the best standard pen, but it's a light tank, so you usually flank heavies and stuff. And also you have really good high explosive pen, 102 millimeters of high explosive pen. So the HE is really good on this tank. You're able to penetrate a lot of tanks with HE. And yeah, so and I know the RU-251's a little kind of troll for like getting HE too. Like when I try to HE them in like an RHM or something, it's hard because there's not really that much space to HE it. So yeah, it's a little troll, I'd say, but still you can't rely on armor at all. So, but the gun is really good and the speed is really good. So overall, the tank is just a really good tier 8 light tank. So, and it can be used in tournaments and stuff. So yeah, I was initially thinking of the FV301 also, because that's also a really good tank. But I'd say the RU-251 is more like an actual light tank. It's got speed, it doesn't have armor, and the FV301's got armor and not as much speed, and it's got armor, so it's not really as much of a light tank. Same as the Vickers and like all those on those lines. They're not really like actual light tanks. So yeah, the RU-251's like an actual light tank though, so it's played just like a light tank. You go spot at the beginning of the games, you depending on the team lineup, and then you flank when your team is about to, or you flank the enemy heavies, and then so that your team can push. So here, this game is a little different. They didn't push medium at all, but still the RU-251 was able to work in the heavy area. And now they just flanked through the river with that speed. So now you're able to just use the DPM and clear out all the enemy tanks. So yeah, that's the game. It's just a recording, a replay from my friend Wargaming Crates Come By Me in Asia. So yeah. This is just, and it's actually posted on their YouTube channel too. You could check out Easy Money on Blitz I'll if I remember, then I'll link it in the description in the comments. But yeah, so this is just like you basically it's really good at circling, and see this is the HE, so he hit the track sadly, so but you saw that you're able to penetrate the lower part of the IS-6 on the rear with HE. It's got 102 millimeters of penetration, which is really good. So yeah, the HE is really nice on this tank. So overall, it's a really solid tier 8 light tank. Next up at number 4 is the VK100.01P, the German tier 8 heavy tank on the mouse line. So this tank is I rank at number 4 because it has pretty much like it has a super strong armor profile, so it's really hard to penetrate. And it has a really good gun also. So I like this tank. I really like this tank, and I like every tank on this line actually. It's a nice line. Not everyone likes it, but if you like super heavies, then this line is a really good line to grind. Because the VK100 can also be used in tournaments, and it's and the mouse of course can also be used in tournaments. So they have a lot of good tanks on this line. So first of all, the main thing in this tank that's really good is the armor. You have super strong upper plate armor and super extremely strong side armor, and not really the best turret armor of course, but I'd say better than like a lot of like the mouse and the mouse and stuff. Those you can just load heat and easily pen the cheats, but the VK100 is it's pretty strong unless if it's facing forward. If it's angled though, then the turret is already pre-angled, so if you angle it, then it gets penetrated. But it also has a big cupola on the top of it, so which is still pretty strong though. It's actually like at least 200, I think 220 or something millimeters, so it's pretty strong. So you need to load gold either way. So of course it has a super weak lower plate, but that's what you get with pretty much any like super heavy tank, and like so it's but if as long as you hide that plate, so it takes a little time to get used to, but just hide it wherever you can, whether it's side scraping like what he's doing right now, or hiding it in a rock or some kind of thing, or a dead tank, then it's almost impenetrable. And if you can't hide it, then you just pretty much have to angle and wiggle, because you have really good side armor, and try to just like the lower plate is super weak though, so you really have to angle and like wiggle. So this tank is also good at face hugging and stuff, and it has a really nice gun, 460 average damage on standard, and good penetration and stuff. Not really good DPM with 14.3 second reload, and that's with gun rammer, I think. So. Not really good DPM and not the best like accuracy, but I'd say the accuracy is actually not bad, because if you compare it to like the IS-3 and the IS heavies that do 400 average damage, this one does more. This is and you still have reasonably good aiming time. I'd say it's like it's German, so the accuracy is not bad at all, I'd say, for the gun. So the gun is really nice, and the armor is really nice. Mobility sucks, of course. You only have a 20 km/h top speed, but that's just what you get with this much armor. So you have that much armor, so you but since you have that much armor, if you're in a good position, like what he was earlier in the side scraping, which is this tank is really good at, then you're pretty much impenetrable, and you're super strong when you do that. It's really good at holding. So yeah, that's number 4, the VK100.01P. So yeah, this is just the rest of the replay. There's not really much else to say on this tank. So yeah, it's slow, but now there's just 3 enemies left. Then it's a pretty close game, but he's just pushing. It has a lot of hit points also, 1900, just like every other tank on that line. That's pretty much the same hit points as a tier 9 heavy. So he's now able to just rush super aggressively and clear out the rest of the enemy team. So far at 3k damage, and there's this KV4. Okay, so he just hit the cupola on the top. He probably loaded gold, maybe. Probably. So, since he's face hugging right now, it's really strong. He's still able to pen the cupola though if you use like gold. So, it's not like super impenetrable. So, yeah, you're still able to get penetrated, but you have hit points, and he's able to clear out the KV4. Now there's just one last enemy left, which is the I think it's the ISU 152 or the SU 152, which is right there. And so yeah, I like the Alpha, the big gun, because I like big guns. They're just fun. So it's, if you like more DPM type of tanks, then this might not be the one for you though. If you don't really like big guns, but still, it's a really good tank. So yeah, this is a game on the VK100, which is number 4. Next up, at number 3, we have the P44 Pantera, which is the Italian or European tech tree tier 8 medium. So yeah, this one I put as number 3 because it's probably the strongest. I'd say, in my opinion, the strongest medium tank in this tier, and one of the strongest medium tanks just overall because it's got the auto reloader gun, which is it's just right now on only the Italian tech tree. And it's on the P44 Pantera, the standard B, the Progetto 65, and the Progetto 46. I think that's it for now, until the Swedish tech tree comes out. But, this tank is just, really strong for us here because it's got, like, a pretty good balance of everything. It's got really nice speed. So the mobility is really nice. You also have not really that much armor. You don't really have armor, but you have more armor than a lot of other mediums. So you bounce occasionally, not really though. But it's got the auto reloading gun, which is really good. You're able to do like well, you have a 225 average damage and 3 seconds between each shell. So you're able to do like almost like about like 700-ish, 700, almost 800 damage in like less than like 9 seconds or so. And then unlike a standard auto loader like a bat chat where you have to reload the entire magazine after that for like 20 seconds or whatever, unlike that, you're able to just reload each shell individually, so you're able to still shoot even after you've shot all 3 shells, which is really useful, and it can help like in a lot of situations. So and the gun is really nice. It's like accuracy wise and stuff is pretty good, and penetration, standard penetration is also really good. The premium is not really the best, but it's got really nice standard penetration, and yeah, the speed is also really good on it. So you basically just play it like a standard medium, really. In this game, they just didn't push medium side because they all pushed heavy, but otherwise most games you would just push medium side and spot and see where the enemies are going and flank them. So it's got the damage from it, so you're able to just go into like a brawl like this and like destroy people with the auto reloader. So it's got the speed so it can flank and stuff, so not really turret armor though, so you can't really hold down that great, but I think it's got gun depression also. So yeah, that's the P44 Pantera, which I rank as number 3. And it's one of the strongest mediums, so it's probably like, and probably the best tank in that line. Made the standard B, but it's a really fun tank to play, and also really good. And it's also able to be used in tier 8 tournaments and stuff. So that's number 3. Number 2 is the IS-3, which is the tier, it's on the IS-7 line for the tier 8 Russian heavy. So the IS-3 I'd rank as number 2 because it's probably like one of the most versatile like heavies in this tier. It's able to do pretty much anything. Like, it's got a good turret, decent hull armor, not really the best, but it's got really good side armor. It's got pretty good speed, and the gun is really nice. Accuracy wise, not really good, but it's got a big 400 alpha 122mm gun, so you're able to do a lot of damage, and of course the penetration is pretty good also. So, and the speed is really nice. So it's just overall like everything is pretty good about the IS-3. Like, so, and it's also pretty easy to play. Like, kind of like pretty good for beginners. It was my, I think, second tier 8 tank. I think. Wait, maybe not second, but it was one of my earliest tier 8s, and it's pretty common to see out there. And then So the turret armor is really strong. So if you're in a good hold down position, then you're pretty much impenetrable almost. And it's but also you got strong side armor, so you're able to side scrape if it's in cities or whatever. And the whole armor, it's a pike nose, which means you don't have to angle at all. So it's already pre-angled on the upper plates. So it's a little hard to play since your lower plate is like exposed, but it's also, you don't really need to angle it or anything too much. You can angle it still though to try to get him to bounce. So but it's not like you have to really. If it's like a VK100 for example, then you have to like angle it for sure. But if you just wiggle it, then it's pretty much fine. But I like to always try to cover my front hull if possible, whether it's like hold down or if I'm trying to hide it inside like a rock or a building or something, because it's just really weak. It's pretty much anything can penetrate it. So yeah, but anyways, this is a game that's actually a Mastery 8th game. It's replayed by General Kenobi and the Empire clan. So it's just a game where so after he went to the heavy side and then used his side armor and like was able to like destroy the heavies out there. He's got like it has the mobility, so you're able to like you don't have to just sit in one place like the VK100. You're able to reposition around. So after clearing out the heavies, they're able to go over to the medium side and kind of flank around to finish off the remaining enemy team. So we were this team was actually behind at first, but we're able to like we're now way ahead. So now it's 3-on-1, and yeah, so this tank has pretty good speed. So I like the speed on like the Russian heavies. That's why I like the IS-7 more than the IS-4 actually, because of the mobility. I just like mobility over, even if you have to sacrifice some armor. So yeah, that's the IS-3. If you like more of a kind of medium-ish, lighter heavy type of thing, like a heavy whatever it's called, then the IS-3 is, and pretty much everything on the IS-7 line would be good if you like that type of tank. So that is number 2. And now finally number 1 is the Tiger II. So I ranked the Tiger II number 1 just because it's pretty much like one of the strongest heavies in the tier, of course, but it's really simple to play. There's not really too much to it. It was my first tier 8 tank that I owned. So my first line that I grinded also. That's why my career stats kind of suck on it, but still I was okay in it for like back then when I really sucked. So the Tiger II just pretty much has everything good going for it. Like the gun is really good. It's got a pretty good balance between like damage and rate of fire. 310 alpha and a 9-second reload. That's with like that's with calibrated shells on there too. You can get it down lower with gun rammer, but I use calibrated just because the damage per minute is already okay. So you also have really good standard penetration. Your penetration is really good. So and the gun is extremely accurate too. Probably one of the most accurate heavies in the tier, maybe next to like the low and like other tanks, but it's really accurate. So there's not really that many times that you miss, and you also have pretty good gun depression. I think it's 7 or 8 degrees or something like that. And you have like extremely strong hull armor on the front. The front hull armor is really strong that like a lot of tier 9s can't penetrate it, and you just have to load gold. Even loading gold, sometimes you don't go through. And unlike a lot of heavies, like pretty much all heavy tanks in this game, like the IS-3, the VK100, the Mouse, the E100, like pretty much everything has the lower plate on the front is weak. It's a lot weaker than the upper plate. But the Tiger II, surprisingly, it's not that weak. It's, I think, maybe a little weaker or something, but it's still not too bad, and it's really hard to penetrate still. It all depends on like if they're above you or below you. So if they're like flat on ground, then it's really hard to penetrate the hull. You have to just load gold, and even sometimes you can't penetrate it with gold. The turret is not the strongest. The front turret is like, it's not really that strong, especially if it's like turned a little, because it's kind of pre-angled already. But and it has like a big hatch on the top, but it's still pretty strong. A lot of times you still have to load gold most of the time. So here you can see the gun depression is not bad really. So and also the mobility is pretty nice. It doesn't have the best speed, of course, but considering how heavy it is, it's pretty fast, I'd say. And so I like, and the turning speed I really like about this, because you're able to wiggle like your tank really fast, and that's what you really need to do in this tank, is wiggle it, because the sidearm is also really strong. It's good at side scraping, but like if you're there's like for some high penetration enemies, you're not able to get in an angle where you're completely impenetrable, unlike the VK100 or something. So, but if you just wiggle like crazy, then it's really hard to penetrate, because it's like sometimes the weak spot is the side and sometimes it's the front. And then if you're wiggling like that, then even like gold, you'll bounce gold shells, premium ammo. So here, this game is also a Master Ace that I did. I played it a while ago. This is the replay, of course, but it was a super close game. We were way losing earlier, but we managed to clear out those people. And now at 539 HP, we lost another. We got hit again for the Tiger 1, so now we're down to 300 HP. So, and that T28 is also a one shot, so it's not looking too good. But we managed to clear out three enemies there, and we're just gonna finish off this last Tiger 1. And yeah, so I thought I was gonna die here. I thought we were gonna lose, so like I was literally like shaking but in this game, but we managed to win it somehow. And then I kind of got salty here because that T28 just wasn't really helping that much. But so I tried to side scrape, but I noticed that the Tiger 1 turned around to get the T28, which means that I just rushed. His turret turned around, he bounced the T28, and the T20 also bounced, and my reload, you see the damage per minute is pretty good, so, or, I mean the reload time is pretty good, so I managed to finish off that Tiger 1, and we managed to win. I got 5 kills and 4.6k damage Mastery Ace in this game, so yeah, that's the Tiger 2, so I ranked the Tiger 2 #1 just because it's, like, one of the best tanks overall. It's pretty, like, easy to play, not really too much, and the stock grind sucks, but it's not too bad, like, still, it's, and the tank is really good, and it also leads to the E100, which is a nice tank, so, yeah, that's the top 5, tier 8 tech tree tanks, in my opinion. So, that's it for this video. I'm not sure if I might make more top 5 or whatever, top something videos. I don't know if people like those. I would like, more, so, yeah, comment if you want more and stuff. But yeah, that's it for this video. So I hope you enjoyed and learned something, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one.